All right, welcome to our last lab for biomedical engineers. Today we're going to talk about vaccination and relates to immune system that you guys are learning by right now. So as we know, immune system is a self-learning system that sometimes needs a little help. And that's what the vaccine comes in. The vaccine kind of teaches the immune system to tackle novel foreign attackers of the body, and it will help try to fix things. Now, this is especially important right now with current events of COVID-19. We know there's a lot of vaccines being developed currently as we speak. So, with that coming through, there are many methods of delivery for the vaccine, and that's what we're going to talk about today. With us today is our simulation director, Christina Alvarado.
Hello, everyone.
She has background, many background, but one of her background is nursing, and she's going to talk about injections and different type of needles and delivery systems.
For sure. Chen, thank you so much for this opportunity. So some things from a bioengineering standpoint that I think you guys have to learn and understand is a lot of these needles have different safety mechanisms. And those safety mechanisms are extremely important, especially when you're working with patients. I myself have gotten poked. I know some of my colleagues have gotten poked. But we'll go through some of that here shortly.
And we call that sharps in the medical field, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So I think some things to take into consideration is, what about injections? Are they all the same? And the truth of the matter is that they are not. And we're going to go through some of these very basic things right now. One of the things that actually I'm going to highlight first is Narcan. Now, this is a fake box of naloxone. For those of you who are trained, awesome. And for those of you who are not trained, that's okay, because it's something very easily that you can easily deliver. I'm going to go ahead and have Chen open this box. As he's opening it, I'm going to tell you that naloxone comes in different formats, but the one that's most popular, especially these days, is intranasal. Now, typically, I'm going to try to get up a little bit closer.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll see this syringe right here, but typically there's also an atomizer, something that you put on the tip so that it's more like Flonase. For those of you who take allergy medications, you apply this to the tip and you deliver it by putting half in one nostril and half in the other nostril. All right. So again, that's naloxone, but that's also a common medication that you might have over the counter, such as Flonase. You may take that for allergies, for example. All right. So that's intranasal. Chen, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah. So for vaccination, my question for you, Christina, is, do you need the atomizer? And my second question for that is, for the students here, do the patient need to inhale in order for that pharmaceutical medicine or vaccination be delivered?
So the answer to the first question is I would definitely check with manufacturer recommendations on how to administer the medication. And this is, again, where I would defer to my pharmacy colleagues, right? Different medications have different stipulations on how you administer. So I'm going to defer that one to our pharmacy friends, but that's a very important question.
Good.
Your second question is, do they need to be breathing, right? So what happens is with this atomizer, it helps kind of aerosolize, right, this medication so that it can get into the system. If the patient's not breathing or breathing slowly, they will obviously get some of this medication. If not, take into consideration that you also have CPR if you are giving CPR during this time.
Yeah, excellent. Now, we're going to talk about some of the sharper stuff here. So, let's open one of these.
Hey, hold on. Let's bring Carrie in here and our volunteers so that they could say hi, too.
Come on in, guys. So, do you say hi to our biomedical engineering students?
Hello.
This is, he's an engineering student, right?
Yeah.
So a little shout out to our engineering students.
He went through all this already.
Totally done.
So, what is this?
What's the package say? Just kidding. So with some medications, specifically if you're administering insulin, this may be one of the syringes that you use. Specifically on this, this has mLs on it, but just for insulin, it actually has units, and I think that's very important to decipher. One of my favorite features, we're gonna open this thing up.
Yeah, let's do it.
I want to show how short this is. Can you guys see that?
Here.
Maybe. Oh, yep, that's better. Whoa, this way. Yeah, cool. See how short that is? So it's not going to go in, it's not going to penetrate as deep as it would in some of our other injections. Very short needle. And my favorite feature about this is the safety mechanism, right? So I'm going to pretend like I'm injecting into this pad right here, straight down. For those of you, actually, do me a favor, guys. Google bevel of the needle. That's a very important point. Inject, right? I'm going to administer the medication, retract it. What's really nice is that the old school way, we would just recap. Can I get a little background, Chun? There you go. The old school way, you would just recap it. Nowadays, boom, safety. And now, it's safe.
No, just kidding.
Completely safe. So I think that's one of my favorite features of this specific type of syringe. It's a lot safer.
All right, let's check out some other ones. So needles come in different sizes and gauges, right? 18, 16, 22, 25, 26, they're all different sizes. What do those numbers mean? Okay, so that's one question for you. What is the difference between a 18 gauge compared to a, let's say, a 25 gauge? Okay, which one's smaller and which one's bigger? The answer might surprise you.
Yeah.
So right now we have a 25 gauge here. So let's open that up. So notice how I didn't take it out. The way this is designed, I open it and I leave this part open so that she can screw that in. That way, no one's touching that.
Yep. Sounds good. So to kind of add more to Chen's comments here, also look up pediatrics and injections because there's some different considerations with that as well, and some preferred injection sites. So same thing with this. There's a nice little safety mechanism in place. All right, the pink is just the cap, so I'm going to remove that. And you can see the needle. So again, aspirate. I'm going to inject. Word of caution, if this were a real patient, I would be cleaning this with alcohol, obviously.
Yep, so we have something like this. Sometimes they're called iodine. That comes in more orange color. But we would take this alcohol when we wipe the surface. Why do we do that? If the needle is bypassing the surface, why do we need to clean the surface? So that's another question for you guys to answer. But
types of cleaning. But anyway, so theoretically, let's say that was already clean. I injected. Remember that pink side? Prop it up. The needle is now safe.
Yeah. And the best part is, I can't open this again. So I'm trying really hard to make this open, and it's only one way. So this cannot be used anymore. This needle cannot be used anymore.
Yep.
So those are some of the main needles to talk about. Is there anything else we're talking about for vaccination? So different sites, maybe?
Yeah, definitely different sites is something to consider, and that's also going to determine your needle size. For hopefully everyone that's watching this video has already gotten their flu shot. If not, thank you for the job security.
Now, I do want to throw one question out to the public. We've been getting a lot of questions here. Why do we need flu shot this season if everybody's been wearing masks? And there's 3 reasons for that. And they all had to do with COVID. What are the 3 reasons why we still need a flu shot if everybody wearing masks is for COVID? And they are very important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Good point. I think the other thing to take into consideration is for intramuscular, right? Those deeper ones. What size needle? I'd welcome that. Also, intradermal, for example. Let's learn a little bit more about that, and I'll have you guys Google that. Sub-Q, I would have you guys look at that as well. And the only needle that we really didn't talk about is sometimes we have needles to specifically draw things out of vials, right? And the reason we do that, I don't want to use the same needle that I drew this out to then inject you, right? Because it might lose some of its sharpness. We don't want this to be a painful experience. Also, if there is an ampule, which I would invite you guys to Google what an ampule is. There are medications that are delivered in an ampule. Sometimes there's pieces that may fall into the vial, and we need to filter that out. We obviously don't want to draw that out as well. So I would invite you to look at that as well, to Google that, find some videos on that, because there's we need to make sure that we draw the medication out safely before we give it to the patient.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So let's say this is vaccination,
Yep.
and I have 5 people in front of me. Can I use the same vial for all 5 people? If
For
I
a
use
vaccine?
for separate needles.
If you for a vaccine, vaccines are gonna no.
So it has to be 1 vial per person.
That's the way that I have always done it. Yeah, we don't want to share things, especially not these days.
Absolutely.
For sure. Let's see. There's some medications that need to be reconstituted, right? Where you might have a powder format of the medication, and then you may need to reconstitute it with normal saline.
And why is it in a powder format? Why isn't it already in liquid, ready to go? Wouldn't that be easier?
It would totally be easier, but again, that's part of what you guys are going to investigate here shortly. And so you're definitely going to use different needles to make sure that you reconstitute that appropriately.
Absolutely.
But I think safety's first, right? In any kind of situation, we're going to pick the right site, the right patient, the right dose, the right medication before we even administer anything. And above all, we need to make sure that we wash our hands, apply gloves, clean the site, and make sure that we're doing this as safe as possible to provide the best care and obviously do the right thing for the patient.
All right, guys, you have your question today. The different types of injection methods from Christina, the different sites you can use, including nasal. The powder. Why do we use powder form? And what other question do we ask them today? Gauges too. Yep, gauges size. What does the number mean compared to the sizes?
Sure. And pediatric considerations for this as well.
Yes, their sites are obviously different because they are smaller physically. So they might have different sites too compared to adult. So.
Yeah, and I think that's it. From an engineering standpoint, I would invite you guys to learn a little bit more of the safety mechanisms that have been put into place and those that are being developed, because I feel like this has definitely evolved even since I started practicing. So it takes bright minds like yours to keep on creating things to keep us safe while we're working out there.
And when we discuss the different sites, I want you guys to also list the pros and cons for each too, okay? All right, guys. That has been a great semester with you guys. Unfortunately, we can't see each other in person, but if you guys ever see me on campus or anything, feel free to say hi to me and Christina and all the other people that have been on these video labs. All right? Have a good day. Bye.
Bye-bye.